Hello everybody, and welcome to this video, where I'm going to read just you a little bit. Yeah, you want to be in the video? Fine. Hello everybody, and welcome to this video, and the first video of Spook Month, October. So yeah, I gotta let you down. Alright, so, and the fact that this is October has very little to do with this video. Blake, you have food. You're fine. Literally quiet the whole day. She had no problems. The second I turned on the camera. We all know that YouTubing can get pretty expensive. We've seen I'm sure all of you have at least heard of the $1,000 videos of Mr. Beast. And even fairly regular YouTubers, like for example MatPat, regularly spend what must be at least $100, a couple $100 on various things for their videos. And so, no matter what way you slice it, this is not a cheap job by any means, or a cheap hobby by any means, especially if you do certain things. And so that is why today I wanted to go on that bandwagon. I spent $100 on this video. So what did I spend it on? Up first we have this. This is a enhanced wireless controller and protection case. As you can see on the back there, it is literally just a case and a controller. And so, today I wanted to see, and so this is what we're going to start with. Alrighty, so now I got my Nintendo Switch here. And then I also have the case and controller. So, let's see what we got. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this thing. Move back a little more. Okay. I need something sharp. Ah! I know. I'll just use my sharp wit. Alrighty. There we go. Now I should be able to just pop it up. What? Oh, there's more. For frick's sake. At this point, I'm just gonna keep the knife with me. I mean, I'm gonna keep my razor sharp wit with me. You know, whenever I see and think about these stickers, I wonder, there's gotta be at least one kid and parents that, you know, they hand their adorable bundle of joy something like this. Be like, okay, go ahead and open it, you know, Timmy. And then, you know, Timmy goes ahead to open it and then just is disappointed in the car because he can't open it because of those little stickers. So I just keep thinking of little Timmy. Anyway, so this is kind of how it is coming out of the box, where you have the case and that little plastic thing with the controller. And it looks like we have a literally long charging cord. Like, look at that, that's like bundled up multiple times. And at least according to the charging cord, the controller does charge using USB-C. So already, good start. But now let's go ahead and let's look at the case. I can already feel that the case itself is pretty hard. So I'm expecting this to be at least somewhat quality. So first off, it's of course the design you see. We didn't get the wrong case or anything. Decent amount of, like, I have to that pretty hard to even try and dent it, and even then it's not going in much. But yeah. Other than that though, pretty standard case. Just a standard protective case. Oh, that's kind of cool. Now, obviously, it has everything that it advertised, where it has, you know, the places to put your games in, and it has a little zipper pouch on top. But there's a couple cool design things that I noticed. So first off, this little tag here is the Silent Princess from the game, which is the iconic flower of the game. And that is literally all that is. It doesn't have any like information on it. It's literally just a tag with that little bit of art, so that's cool. And then under this part where you put your Switch is a decal of the Master Sword. So that's pretty cool as well. Except I'm just now noticing something. This is supposed to be for the Switch Lite. So it's unclear whether or not my Switch will fit in here. And let me look. Does it say on the box that it is for a Switch Lite? Enhanced wireless controller and protection case. Wireless and motion. It's rechargeable. Has mappable buttons. Holds 9 games. The protective shell. Enhanced wireless controller and protective case. 2-year warranty. Absolutely nowhere on this. Wait. Okay, it claims on the back that it works with all of them. So then, what I would assume, then, is that that's just a little rubber piece. Okay, yeah. It's just a little rubber piece you can take out that makes it to where it more snugly fits a Switch Lite. Because if you don't know, the Switch Lite is like a tiny bit smaller than the actual Switch. So, but now that Switch Lite thing is out, I should be able to just slide that in. Yeah. So, surprise, surprise, the case works. My Switch is in there, all fine. And so now, it's time to see how effective this case actually is. And you're probably wondering, how am I, Austin D, going to do that? Alright, I was trying to find where that went exactly. Right there. Okay. Yeah, no, I did put my actual Switch in there, because I'm not mad. But, the case itself doesn't seem to be damaged, except it did fold in on itself a little bit. Right there, you can even see that. Where you can kind of see that it folded in on itself on that corner. But it's not like but the case itself didn't break at all. That's just where it just kind of mushed in. Because the top and bottom are hard, but the zipper is obviously just still a Velcro zipper. And so just on that little bit of fabric, where it was just the zipper, is where it collapsed in. But in terms of the actual case, everything's still fine. So I would assume if my Switch was in there, it would protect it. Especially since on top of just being in the case, it has this little bit of actual like foam that goes right over, you saw it already, that goes right over where the screen would be. So I think it will be fine. If I would have chucked it, but I'm not going to risk that. And what is this little paper? That's just warranty stuff. So what are our thoughts? Should we try and actually smash something in this? I think we have to. But now let's look at what one of the things the actual reason I got this, because honestly, I don't see much of a need for the travel case, because I'm careful enough that the screen itself doesn't get cracked, and even if it did, I have a screen protector on it. And on top of that, I also just straight up don't take it with me much. And if I do, I slide it in my bag where it's already pretty safe. Aside from, stealing, but what can you do? And so, for the most part, I don't feel I need a case. And so the actual reason I bought it was for the cool looking controller. As you can see, it's the same design as the other one. And it's pretty similar to other controllers you've seen if you've seen any of the previous PowerA controllers, where it has a similar build factor to like the Switch Pro controller, where it's a bit more meaty, a bit more thick. And then it has all the regular buttons, and as it's on the package, it allegedly has motion, so that is something we'll definitely at least try and check out. But yeah. And in order to test out the controller, we're actually going to go on to the next thing I spent my money on as well. This is a video capture card, HDMI to USB, that I was able to get at Walmart for 20 bucks. Now, admittedly, I've gotten this once before, but that one broke easily. Because that's the thing. This is actually decent when you're capturing footage, but the only thing about it is that it does indeed, what am I trying to say? Okay, it does break relatively easily. Like, it's fairly easy if you're not careful for it just get bent, but a majority of the time it's just going to be plugged into the back of your computer somewhere anyway if you are going to use it. Where it's just going to be something that you plug HDMI cords into, and it's not really going to have to endure much damage. But obviously, since I did do and want to get back to doing capture gaming videos, especially with the new Pokemon games right around the corner, I figured that this would be a good way to test it. And yes, I'm looking down because I'm starting to get my enemies, the circle sticker, off of this little box now. I get that these little stickers are like an anti-theft measure, or even like to prevent like small children from busting them open. But in my opinion, that's also kind of where they fail, as I've already mentioned. Little Timmy in the car. Little Timmy is so excited in the car to put his Switch in his new case and try out his new controller, and then he's stopped because of the little circle things. Even I, as an adult man, need to get a tool, a knife, to help me. But anyway. But this video isn't about circle pads, it is about this. So let's get to it. So, this is, I have the little device plugged in, which if you ever do need to look it up for any reason, it's just simply called, I think it was like Video Now or something like that. Let me pull up my settings here, or my devices rather. Where is it? Yeah, it's just called USB Video when you plug it in, so it's nothing too fancy. And you do need to know the name of it, because in order to actually record with it, you need to use it in a program like OBS, which is why I'm showing OBS right now. And yes, I know I'm a little bit of a mess. That's fine. So if you don't know how to add this thing in OBS, you just go to here, and then you do a video capture device. And then you can name it whatever you want. I don't personally name it anything. As you can see here, it's going to be USB video, which is currently not receiving a signal because my switch is off, but it will be on here soon. And so now we just make sure that everything's good here. And then I don't know why these are weird. I guess they're red because they're not options. But yeah, and then there's a little bit of sizing issue, as you can see there. But yeah, so let's go ahead and let's look at. So I'm going to go ahead, stop recording my screen, so I can start recording the actual thing. Alrighty. So as you can see, it's perfectly fine. It records. Imagine that. The recording device records. And, yeah, so as you can see, we have all the sounds there. Everything runs relatively fine. However, there is one thing I wanted to note while recording this, and that is, and this might literally be just a my computer thing. Like, this is my own personal item that I have to deal with. But there is a little bit of input delay when looking at this, when doing this now. As in, there is a delay between when I press a button and when I go into and what I'm able to see. So, which is because it is running through an adapter that is simultaneously recording. But like, for an example, I'm pressing side now. And so it's a very tiny bit of delay, but it is enough delay that I think that if you're into a game like, say, Splatoon, you would definitely notice. And on top of that, you can see it a little bit, but it does occasionally lag when you're viewing it, which again might just be a my computer thing. It might not be for everything, so let's go ahead and get into a game here. So I'm actually gonna go into Splatoon 3 just cause Splatoon, why not? But honestly, so far everything seems to be running fine with it. The one main downside is that while the audio is, I'm sure, or at least should be playing while it's recording, you can't hear the audio when you're playing. So like right now, I'm not hearing anything from the Switch. So that's something that is intriguing. Well, not necessarily intriguing, but interesting. We have to get some game data to improve player experience. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and get into an online game here, and we're going to see how it goes. And for those of you wondering, yes, I play with stick controls. Suck it. This is not the gun I play with. I was experimenting. The gun I normally play with, not that one, is Aerospray. But anyway, nice coverage. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Just regular battle. Yeah. Look. Obviously, this isn't related to the video, but I just like Splatoon. I mean, it is a little bit annoying to have to wait so long to get into an online lobby, but at least you're not bored the entire time. And here we go. So now we're gonna see how we do. Now, admittedly, I'm not the best at this game. Murderer. I don't really play a lot of shooting games, but you know, we'll see. We'll see how I do. This is mainly a test of how bad, of if the lag is actually going to be terrible or not. So I mean, I'm noticing, at least on my screen, like my personal screen that I have to use to play the game, there is a little bit of lag. But, and so if you're actively playing, it's going to be a little bit of an issue until you get used to it. But in terms of actual gameplay, it seems like the button lag isn't really too bad. I can still respond to everything pretty okay. Then again, nothing's happening. But, I mean, lag isn't super noticeable yet. And, okay. So, you know, it's one of those things. And that's a little bit of just me being bad at the game coming through. But, yeah. But, like I said, there's a little bit of lag, a little bit of input problems, or a little bit of input delay, I mean, that you probably will notice. But ultimately, you know, nothing too insane. So this is definitely like the kind of game where it's like if you're in an online match like this, I could see it easily being a problem. But I honestly think though in most cases, because I mean all your button inputs are delayed, so I mean it's not like you're gonna be, it's just like an occasional delay with something. So maybe it might be fine in like a platforming game or something, like more casual games. But in terms of online games like this, where it's like a shooting game, probably not going to be the most ideal. But at the same time, you're getting a capture device for $20, when most of them are $30 or more. At least that I've seen. Oh yeah. I know, I realize at this point I'm just playing Splatoon, but I don't care. But yeah, so plus this will help us see. Because if I lose, I can just blame it on the fact that I'm trying out this capture device. And if I win, that's just something in the capture device. That it doesn't really matter. Take everything. Okay, come on, let's see. Who won? Oh, we definitely lost. Sorry, guys. I fully take responsibility for that. I'm trying out something new. But yeah, so that is this. And, like I said, the fact I lost is totally because of the capture device and not at all to do with my actual player skill. I'm level 11. Can't be that bad. But I am gonna stop. I know, my desk's a mess, but we don't talk about that. What we are gonna talk about, though, is the fact that, I haven't played on the controller. That entire time I was just focused on playing on my Joy-Cons. So, let's actually check out this controller now, shall we? And I dropped the controller. That's not gonna bode well. Or maybe it will bode well, because if it still works fine, you know, it can take at least a couple drops. I have these in the wrong hands, that's why it feels so funky. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to pair off a new controller. View pairing methods. Okay. Pairing controllers. Connect console to the USB cable or pairing controllers wirelessly. Close screen and select script/change order. Oh, okay. I have to go to the grip order. That's right. And then now I should be able to just turn this on. It's a tiny little button. Maybe like a key or something. And there we go. Now we're connected. So let's go ahead and let's see how the game plays. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that in the screen recording, but at least on my screen, when I'm moving to the side like this, there are times where it will literally, like, it'll do screen tearing, which for those that don't know is when things that are moving on the screen get, like, cut in half and, like, part of it gets left behind. And so, be aware of that when you are playing it. I don't know if that's coming through in the actual recording, but that is something that I'm seeing on my end as I'm recording it, because it's going through the little dongle. So let's see. So the controller feels fine. Like I said, it is a chunky controller.
Let's get down to business.
So do, like, be aware of that. But aside from the chunkiness, like, as in, like, the actual just how big the controller is, because it is obviously way thicker than the Joy-Cons. But in terms of the actual controller, it feels good in the hand, especially if you have bigger hands. But like I said, it is really thick. I've just said thick like twice. But yeah, so it's a good controller. Buttons feel fine. It's honestly pretty standard controller. It feels really similar to other power controllers if you ever had any of them. But yeah, honestly, if you, it's just like all the other power controllers. Where the buttons are nice and clicky, and or at least I think they're clicky. I don't really know what defines clicky buttons necessarily, but obviously the sticks feel good. And, you know, all the buttons are perfectly fine. D-pad, fine. But yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. It's just, you know, it's a good controller. It's wireless. And the only button input I have, or button delay that I have, is just the controller itself. Or not the controller itself, sorry, the dongle. But even that, like I said, I'm barely noticing. So, which, if you want another update on that, I'm barely noticing the fact that it's giving me input delay. And so, kind of like what's the thing? So I honestly don't think it's a massive problem, but but it's just one of those things where it is maybe, it does have the tendency to delay sometimes, so I can see it being a problem for some games, maybe. But ultimately, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I want to bring this next point up because while it's not a huge thing for me, I know it is a thing for some. So I just wanted to, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to put the Switch into sleep mode. And now I'm just curious if it'll wake it up from sleep. So if you don't know, with the Pro Controller and a bunch of third-party controllers now, you're able to just simply hold the home button while the Switch is in sleep mode and it'll wake it up. So we're just going to see if that does that. And it does. So, you know, it's fine. So that works just fine. So if that's a feature that's important to you, it does happen with this controller. And the other thing I haven't brought up till now, because I just personally don't use them when I use controllers that offer them. But if you are the type to want controllers, they also have 2 mappable buttons on the back, which if you don't know, you can just map these to any button you want on the front. But like I said, I never use them, so therefore I can't say how they are. But I will say, in terms of pressing the buttons, they're clicky buttons just like every other button. And they're just on the back of the controller, so you can hit them with these hands. Or, not these hands, these fingers in the back. So, you know, pretty typical stuff. for PowerA, because PowerA does a lot of the wireless controllers that also have buttons on the back. Which honestly seems like their replacement, because if you don't know, these controllers and very, very, very few third-party controllers in general have Amiibo support. So yeah, that is something that you have to keep in mind when buying this controller, is that this is about a $50 controller normally, because it does seem to be in line with other PowerA controllers. It's about $50 controller for ultimately, I would actually say it's worth it, because you don't get the Amiibo functionality, but you still get a really functional controller that feels good in the hand, and it lasts. It's durable. My last one broke after literally like 2 years of me using it. And even after those 2 years, the controller itself was still mostly fine. It was just the fact that the sticks were a little bit bent. So, the question that I obviously wanted to ask in this video, because this video is that I spent $100 on these things, is whether or not each thing is worth it. And so we're going to start with these two. And now, I will say, like I already said with controller, this is about a $50 controller. And this, from what I've seen, is about, in value, a $20 case. And sure enough, and so $50 controller, $20 case, and fittingly, and the actual selling price for them was what? And the actual sell price for them was about $65. Or not about, it was $65, and then plus tax. And also I got a protection plan on them, which was $2 more. So in total, about $70 for $70 value, which I think is very valuable. And then next we have the capture card, which, like I said, it's an easy plug-in, and you do have to supply software. It doesn't come with software, but OBS is free. And even if you don't know how to use OBS, but you want to get into like game capturing and stuff, it even has a little pamphlet included inside that tells you how to set it up with OBS. So ultimately, I don't think it's that much of an issue, and you saw the quality for yourself in this video. You might have to play with a couple of settings to get it to work like fully properly, but yeah. And the only thing about it is, like I said, there is a small delay between what the console is actually processing and what's showing up in OBS. But I think that's just the fact that my computer is a little bit not the best. And so, therefore, there's gonna be lag whenever you're looking at things through the lens of a capture program. And so I don't think that's necessarily on the device at all. But ultimately, it lets you record at at least close to HD quality, and it's perfect. And so it records at HD quality, and it only costs $20. So ultimately, I don't think that it's a waste of money. I think it is worth it, especially since, like I said, lower end capture cards at the very least are worth $30, with mid-range ones being around $100. So paying $20 to be able to record footage isn't that bad of a deal. But just keep in mind that in order to record footage, you will also need a computer. But that's the case for most capture devices. But that math doesn't quite add up, I hear you saying. A $70 case and a $20 capture card only makes for $90. And if there's anything I do not do, it is clickbait. Ignore those. So, admittedly, now, like I said, in true total, because of taxes and everything, I spent on those two, I guess technically 3 items, Yeah, I spent on those two, technically 3 items, about $92, a few cents over. And so that left me with $8 to try and fill up the 100 limit. So the next thing I got were these. This is a $3 movie and a $1 tea. Now, if you're wondering, now, are these worth it? Well, let's get into that. So first off, this movie is just a really simple $3 movie. It's Bionicle: The Legend Reborn. If you don't know what this is a Bionicle movie that I watched as a kid. And so this has personal nostalgia value, which is why I grabbed it, seeing it was so cheap and needing to fill up this video and just looking for something cheap to buy. So yeah. Honestly, I don't think if I were to actually open it and watch the movie that it would be worth it, honestly. I mean, it would be worth $3. But, I mean, it's a B-tier movie. You know, you kind of get what you pay for kind of thing. There's a reason why this is on the budget rack movie shelf. And Arizona tea, if you haven't seen my tea tasting video, one of the best teas you could possibly grab. It's a good mix between bitter and sweet. And by bitter, I mean like the bitterness of tea. And you get, how much is that? 23 fluid ounces for only $1. And so I think definitely worth it. I'm only going through this because I've already talked about if the other ones are worth it. So it feels wrong to not talk about if these are worth the money. But honestly, I think they are worth the money. $3 movie, $3 cheap kids action movie, and a $1 tea. But you're still gonna have yourself a decent movie night, is what I was gonna say before the phone recording cut out. But, in all honesty, we don't need the phone recording anymore anyway, because the last thing we have, if you've been doing the math already yourself, you'll know we're at about $96, so we still need to spend $3 to $4 more to get to our $100 total. And so, I went out and I decided to grab a game, because it kind of seemed like it fit. We have a controller, we have a controller case, we have something to record games with, and then we have a tea and a movie. And so, you know, it all just kind of made sense to keep it in the line of entertainment. And so, you know, I figured, let's go find a relatively cheap game. And, you know, it's Halloween. Or at least it's the Halloween month. It's October. And so I figured I wanted to try and find a scary game. And so I think I found one. I found a game on Steam for about $2 and some cents called Night Janitor. And so I think we're going to check it out. Okay, so as I said, this game is called Night Janitor. And I've just realized I made a terrible mistake. Hold on. Okay. So, first things first. Like I said, I made a crucial error. I had my headphones off. But it seems like now I've timed out the menu music. I thought because of how similar it sounded, it was on loop, but I guess it wasn't. So first off, I gotta look at the warning. This game contains flashing, flickering lights, which may potentially trigger seizures for people with photosensitive epilepsy. You can turn off the flickering light effect in the pause menu. I'm not gonna turn it off personally, just because I don't have the issue. But that's the warning. Epilepsy warning. Ooh, it's changing the scene. This isn't paused, by the way. It's just straight up not moving. Admittedly, I didn't pay too close attention to the system requirements. But... well, we're getting music at least. Okay, Steam, restart. I guess the update made the game crash, potentially? I don't know, we're just gonna let Steam update. We're gonna let Steam do its thing. And then we'll go back to try and play the game. So how are you all today? Alright, looks like we're ready to play now, so let's go ahead and get into it. Made with Unity. Okay. It's actually trying this time though. Like it wasn't just like an instant boot out. So that gives me hope. Please work. I can't even blame the game for this. This is just my PC.